Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Alison Jessup. This is my co-founder, Rob Buckman. We're here to tell you about Canefin, our green lending startup today. Canefin's mission is to drive as much money as possible into activities that will reduce carbon emission. And we will start by providing loans to homeowners to enable them to improve the energy efficiency of their homes.
So why are we starting in this space? Well, to begin with, there's a huge unmet need. It's going to cost somewhere in the region of £330 billion to bring the UK housing stock up to the standards that the government has suggested it should be at to meet net zero. And while some of that will come from government subsidies and household savings, the majority is going to have to come from borrowing. And our research suggests that it's access to finance which is currently the biggest barrier to people investing in their homes. Even though for a lot of those people, the loan repayments themselves could be less than the energy bill savings. So it's not really about affordability. And there's something else at play here as well. There's also a huge unmet demand from institutional investors wanting to put their money into exactly this kind of activity. Indeed, the market for green financial assets has grown by a factor of more than 100 over the last 10 years, and that's due to continue, especially as organisations are required to report on their Scope 3 emissions. And this is where Canefin comes in. What we want to do is channel those funds from the institutional investors into green projects such as homeowner retrofits. And we're really excited about working in the retrofit space. From a carbon perspective, at the moment in the UK, 17% of the country's emissions come from homes, and so this is a huge opportunity to reduce those. We conducted a large piece of research earlier this month, and it suggested that the right product could unlock somewhere between 30 and 50 billion of additional spending. And strategically, this is a great fit for us. This area really needs innovation and agility, so it's perfect for a startup like ours. The fact that we're doing this for carbon reduction purposes means that the conversations we're having with funders are going really well so far, and it's a really exciting, scalable opportunity. Traction-wise, we've been speaking to lots of brokers and financial advisors, and they're really excited to see products like this come to market, and they're giving us all the support we need to get there. The finance community themselves, more widely, including speaking to the big banks, everyone can see that this needs to happen. It's just that no one is doing it well. Not yet. And then finally, there are the installer community who really need products like us to help them get their products out there. We've been approached by several to partner, and Alison's going to tell you a little bit more about 2 pilots that we've got coming up as a result of this.
So, how are we going to approach this? We are going to put together financing packages designed specifically to remove barriers to home retrofit. The financing package will include a flexible loan that will cover a wide range of home energy efficiency improvement and renewable energy measures. It will also include other incentives, such as carbon credit, which can be worth £1,000 per tonne of carbon saved, that will further incentivise customers to retrofit their homes. We will make these financing packages easily accessible to our customers via installers and financial advisors, using a quick online application powered by open banking, ensuring a smooth, seamless customer journey. Every loan we make will have a measurable impact on carbon emission, which will make us really attractive to institutional investors who are looking for high-quality green financial assets. Our approach is already getting a lot of interest. Right now, we are lining up 2 pilot lending programs. One is with a home energy efficiency contractor scheme with 2,000 installers. And the second one is with a startup heat pump installer with a nationwide network. Both of these partners have tried to work with big banks to find the right financing solution and failed because the banks were too slow and too inflexible. And so they want to work with us because we are agile and focused on green lending only. So, although homeowners already have a number of options to borrow when it comes to retrofitting their homes, we believe what we're doing is unique. Our agility and clean slate as a startup give us a competitive edge. Competitors that lend at the point of need are often inflexible and many finance specific technologies only. More traditional financial services products such as second charge mortgages or personal loans involve a really clunky user journey. And none of these incorporate additional incentives, such as carbon credit, which our recent survey tells us that over 65% of our potential customers would find attractive. Our ambition is to become a mainstream diversified lender on a mission to decarbonise the economy. And this is how we're going to get there. We will spend the rest of 2023 continuing to lay the foundation needed to run those 2 pilots. To do this, we will need FCA authorisation, a funding line, an expanded team, and an MVP tech stack. We plan to raise a seed round in the summer to help us achieve this. Once we've got the pilots up and running, we will start gathering data and insight that will help us really hone in on the product proposition that resonates with our customers. With this insight, we will be able to grow our initial product as well as expand into other product segments with similar unmet needs, such as secured lending and SME lending. And we're the right team to make this a success. With 18 years of experience in financial services, I bring the deep sector expertise and wide network to Canefin. Having bought and started lenders and banks throughout my career, I know exactly what it takes to do this.
I spent the last 14 years in the climate space and the last 10 in politics. I bring the knowledge and networks I built in that time with me, as well as my experience in growing and running successful teams and projects. We've got the team to deliver these products, and those products have got the potential to drive billions of pounds into carbon reducing activity in the UK economy. So I hope that you are as excited as we are about this proposition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Super, thank you very much for the very insightful pitch. First question is, obviously one of the challenges probably is going to be getting the FCA approval or the license. So how are you going to go about that, and what are the potential challenges that you foresee?
Should I take this one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So obviously the FCA authorization is a big hurdle for us. We cannot start lending until we have that in our bag. So and the bar is getting higher and higher, rightly so, for new organisations to get the right FCA authorisation. So we are working with a firm of compliance consultants to help us guide us through that process. And we are also looking for at other potential options to accelerate this process, including buying a already existing regulated business to fast track ourselves. The regulatory hurdle is not insignificant. A large piece of regulation that's coming into play very soon, called consumer credit, sort of kicks the bar higher that much further. So we are aware of the challenges, and we've got, I think, the best advice to help us navigate that process.
It's been a very much chicken and egg experience for me, learning the details about financial services. What we're really ambitious to do is get to the point where we're able to provide secured lending to people to really minimise the cost. But to achieve the FCA authorisation for that, we have to have so much in place. So it's been about, well, okay, so what can we do to prove that we are a lender? And that's where having the installers come to us and actually want these pilot projects is a perfect opportunity for us to have something kind of ready built to get our consumer license, prove to the FCA that we're a competent lender, and then grow from there.
Super, thank you very much. And then my second question would be around your distribution model. Could you help us understand maybe a little bit what that market of the installers looks like? How you're going to get access to them? Whether you need to build a brand? Just generally how you think about that.
Okay. There are currently around 9,000 installers operating in a space that we find relevant, and we will be initially accessing them through through one of our pilots, which is with a contractor scheme. But we're also talking to other schemes to explore the opportunity to partner up with a wider set of installers. Obviously, installers are they're not financial services intermediaries, and so they will need to be. And credit broking is a regulated activity. So actually, we are also working with one of the partners that we're working with is a credit brokerage that will help these installers become either appointed representatives or directly authorised by the FCA in order to be able to distribute financial products to their customers. So I think this is a tremendously exciting space. We believe quite underserved, and we're very happy and very excited about testing our waters in this space.
To speak to the brand element of the question, I think we've got these pilots now, and that's quite a wide network, and I think just word of mouth will travel there. The installer space are crying out for a partner, so I think if word travels that we're able to offer that. As we move into the secured lending space, so I think it's something like 86% of secured lending contracts in the UK go via brokers. So we've already well networked into the broker community. I think we those that we're speaking to and that are supporting us represent more than 75% of brokers. So we are going to have to build the brand, but they are giving us the support. The brand for us is with the broker community, not direct to consumer. So we're not going to have to unfortunately kind of have Canefin across Wembley or Wimbledon or anything like that just yet.
Super, thank you so much. And then next question will be about how you're going to build balance sheet, get access to financing. What's your maybe short-term strategy, and how does that change in the long run?
So in the short term, we're hoping to fund our loans using a debt facility from either one of the large UK clearing banks or a large investment bank. Of the number of UK banks and investment banks we've spoken to, they've started to put together dedicated teams looking at the green lending opportunity. So there is a certain level of appetite there. We are, and in the longer term, I think we are looking to a more diversified funding model. Potentially looking at green bonds is one of the options. Investment from qualified high net worth individuals potentially. So we continue to assess that how we can sort of diversify the source of funding.
It's a very well trodden path. There's thousands of lenders, all following a similar business model. What's really exciting to us is that we are different in a good way, in that we are attractive to investors, to funders, in a way that the others aren't, because all those loans are going to have a measurable carbon impact. As they take them on, they see their Scope 3 emissions go down effectively. Yeah. So, as we mentioned in the pitch, there's the conversations we're having so far, people are really excited about working with us. And as we scale, that opportunity is going to be even bigger and bigger.
So that's super exciting. I mean, we've looked at a few home retrofitting opportunities, and the question really always remains why not more of them are taking up.
Yeah.
Because they should eventually pay for themselves. But I guess then just another thing I'd just like to understand a little bit better. You mentioned that there is obviously this huge unmet need. And that you are in a better position to service that than the incumbents. Can you just talk through a few more specifics about why you can do this versus why the incumbents haven't done it? And I know you touched upon this in the presentation, but if you could elaborate a little bit more on that, that'd be super useful.
Okay. I think first of all, timing for trying to tackle this problem could not be better. I think coming out of a winter of high energy fuel prices, homeowners in particular, are now highly aware of their energy costs, their energy bills, and also thinking of ways to reduce those in the next coming winters. So we think that the opportunities become much more attractive now versus a couple of years ago. There's a lot of rhetoric. There's a lot of talk from amongst the big banks about green mortgages, green lending, etc. But if you look sort of peel the first layer of what they're saying, that a lot of the green lending that they are doing is effectively they're repackaging an existing product and calling it green. So green mortgages, for example, is a normal mortgage, but applies to an energy efficiency, applies to a home that's already energy efficient. And you, as a borrower, you get a slightly lower interest rate, or a bonus payment for retrofitting your home to that EPC rating. None of those products actually tackle the lack of funding at the point of need for the customers when they're actually thinking about retrofitting their homes. None of those products make financing easily accessible for people to spread the cost of retrofitting their homes, which can cost upwards of £10,000. And why are the banks not able to do that? Well, I think they're not, first of all, not really set up to innovate. And second of all, coming up with any new product, it just takes such a long time for these banks to work through their internal systems and their distribution network, etc. So it makes it really interesting for a startup like ourselves, where we're agile and we can react quickly to opportunities, to really come in and really try to tackle this gap, whilst the big banks are trying to figure out how they can do this with existing products, which is a bit like trying to make a square peg fit around a round hole. So we think this is a tremendously interesting opportunity. Yes, people are talking about it, the big lenders are talking about it, but we think it takes a startup like ourselves to really come and tackle this problem with innovation and agility.
Yeah, and the guys in the big banks are saying exactly that to us. They're saying, please do come along and change the territory, because we're not going to get there fast enough. It was really interesting when we first started applying ourselves to this problem. The question, it's a strange supply and demand. There's demand to put, from the institutional investors to put money into green lending, but there's not the supply. It's really hard to get people into it. Why? And there's just very little innovation. So there is no one that's just approaching it from a green perspective. Everyone else is saying, how do we take what we've currently got and add a green element? And by going back to the drawing board, we've been able to innovate in a way that we wouldn't be if we were just a general lender trying to add in green products. So yeah, really excited about having carbon credits in there, really excited about having a 100% green loan book that's measured. No one else is doing that. No one else is looking at affordability and saying, is the fact that your energy bills are going to go down, should we be revisiting your affordability? So there's small things that you can do, but it's very difficult to do if you've already got a set of products that you're trying to tweak, rather than just saying, we will do these loans better than anyone else because it's all we'll do. We're not going to diversify outside of carbon reduction loans.
Super. That was really insightful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.